Phil Ivey's at the final table with the chip lead.
All right, down to the felt we go. 5 players remaining. And the Aussie, John Caridad, very tough so far, amateur player, quickly folds. And now Phil Ivey with a pair of 5s is going to raise to 250.
Now right behind him, the 22-year-old superstar, Justin Smith, looks down at an ace-10. He knows Ivey could be raising on any 2 cards, so he's going to look him up here with the ace-10, makes the call.
The Englishman, Rob Akery, not going to play his hand. And now in the big blind, the German, Moritz Kranich.
I'm all in.
He's going to look at a pair of 8s, and he says all in.
Wow, and a healthy all-in bet it is.
How much is that? 2.3 about.
Ivey's only got about 3.5, so he's not going to make the call. Too much money.
Good muck right there, but Boosted J is considering this with his ace-10.
Well, again, he's got about 3.4 million. Cost him 2.3 to make this call. Tough to make with an ace-10, I can tell you.
And Justin shaking his head.
The beauty about having an ace in your hand, unless your opponent specifically has 2 aces, the worst you're going to be is about a 2-to-1 dog. Doesn't matter what he has.
Like 30 more seconds.
It's ironic. And then if he could see Moritz's hands, he would beat him in the pot here because he'd be getting a great price to call in a race situation.
There's Justin's dad having a coronary there. Can't watch.
It's like a migraine headache. So he's going to lay it down.
So the German is going to put the lemon on the schnitzel and take down that pot. You know, we've been playing poker as a professional for 4 years.
I definitely think I had the best hand. Pretty sure I had the best hand, actually.
Yeah, Morris playing in his first ever WPT event. Made it to this final table. Has had some success in Europe. Doing very well in his first WPT event.
I've won the EPT in Deauville 1.5 years ago. Biggest poker accomplishment so far. And all in all, the field in this tournament was much tougher than it was in Deauville. So it's already an accomplishment for me to be on the final table.
One tough customer, this Moritz. All right, back to the felt we go. Action's going to Justin. He quickly folds. And now the Englishman, Rob Akery, looks at an ace-jack. And he's going to shove.
Well, hadn't done much so far, but all of a sudden it's going all in here with the ace-jack.
Moritz out, the Aussie out as well. But Ivey picks up ace-queen.
Call.
And he's going to call. Rob Akery in a bit of trouble. 24-year-old in his first WPT tournament as well. Ace-jack up against Ivey's ace-queen.
Well, ace-queen's been the nemesis of Phil Ivey over the years at these final tables. Let's see if it holds up here.
Here we go.
Now flop comes 8-6-4. So far, so good for Ivey. Is ace-queen still winning? The board could pair twice where they'd split the pot. To win it, Rob needs to catch a jack.
Yep, he doesn't catch it there. 6.
Well, the board does pair 6s, so an 8 or 4 would give him a split. The jack will give him the win. Otherwise, the Brit is going to be heading out of here.
Rob has to get extremely lucky. Otherwise, it's back to playing checkers on his shirt. Let's see the river.
Well, said if he wins, he's going to buy a villa in Vegas. He's going to have to hold off on that villa as the 9 of spades comes off, and that's going to do it for the Englishman. Rob Akery out in 5th place.
Yeah, takes home an impressive 169,000, close to 170. Shakes hands. He's a gentleman. He's young. He'll be back, I'm sure.
And Ivey takes one step closer to capturing his second WPT title. Well, ace-queen has been like poison ivy for Phil Ivey in the past on the World Poker Tour.
Phil is out of this tournament.
Once again, the ace-queen came back to haunt him just like it did at Foxwoods. Ace-queen is a hex for Phil Ivey.
This just in from WPT Live updates. People are tweeting, Phil Ivey now winning with ace-queen. Poker world in trouble now. We're down to 4 players at Bellagio. Stay tuned.
I'm definitely an action junkie. You know, I like betting on a lot of different things. I just can't help myself. You bet what your bankroll can afford. You know, it's just all relative, you know. What might be big for you might not be big for me.
That's putting it mildly, Vince.
Welcome back to the World Poker Tour, brought to you by ClubWPT.com. And that was Phil Ivey, who's our chip leader right now.
Doesn't matter what activity it is, whether it's on the golf course, betting on games, playing in the pit, or playing high-stakes poker, Phil Ivey is always gambling at the highest levels possible.
All right, to the felt we go. John Caridad, amateur player out of Australia, quickly folding, and now Phil Ivey with the button with a 9-10 is going to raise. 250 to go.
And a position raise on the button.
Booster J out, but Moritz is going to call with ace-9.
Yeah, knows Ivy can be raising with any 2 cards, so he's going to look at a flop here. Oh, and it's come 9-7-3. This flop could be big trouble for Ivy. Sees flop top pair. The problem is Moritz is flop top pair with a better kicker.
Moritz has checked it, and Ivy's going to bet. With the 9s, he bets 350. And the German just going to slyly call. Here comes the turn.
I'm very surprised the German didn't raise him there.
Oh.
But an ace comes off.
Maybe smart not to. He's hit 2 pair now, and he's going to check again.
Well, he's checking. Ivy going to check right behind him. How's that for poker instincts?
Down to the river we go. The German in great shape.
And now a 6 comes off. Now Moritz quickly is going to bet 750,000.
Well, Phil might be an action junkie, but this is the time to pull back.
And you can see his mind just whirring away right there, trying to put the pieces of this puzzle together.
This would be a nice pot for Moritz. Gain a lot of confidence, take one down from Phil, and it's going to work.
In poker, money saved is money earned. Phil Ivy didn't bet on the turn and threw his hand away in the river when his opponent bet.
Nicely done. It's Oktoberfest here in the Fontana Lounge. Very nicely done by the German. Moritz, 30 years old, out of Hamburg. All right, now we're going around to the next hand.
Now Justin's going to raise it on the button with a 9-8.
Makes it 240 to go. Moritz out. But the Aussie, John Caridad,
is a property developer in Australia, an amateur player, playing in his first ever WPT event. But he's going to make the call, knowing this young 22-year-old from America is a very aggressive, bold player. And looks like a good thing he did, as he flopped 2 aces as it comes ace-9-3 with 2 spades.
And the Aussie's going to check. Try to trap a little bit. Will Justin make the continuation bet with the 9s? Yes, he does. 340,000. Guess who's getting out some raisin chips?
$1 million straight.
Well, 1 million straight is the bet. And that should send a message loud and clear to Justin, is that your 2 9s are no longer any good.
Only 22 years old, high-stakes cash game player, making the right lay down right there.
So nicely done there. The last 2 pots, the foreign players have got the best of the tough Americans.
And there's a couple other Royal Flush girls, Melanie and Sunisa, enjoying the moment at Bellagio. We are as well, and the antes are going up to 15,000. Line's now 60 and 120. John Caridad with a quick fold. Ivy out. And now Justin Smith with a 4-3 of clubs.
Well, Justin's in the small blind. He's going to limp in and make the call. Wants to see a flop with his hand.
But the German Moritz behind him with a king 3 in the big blind. Had an option to raise, but he's content to see a flop.
The flop comes Jack 9-6, all hearts. Justin, of course, has nothing. But he is going to bet. Going to try to win this pot right here, but it's not going to work, as Moritz has a king-high flush draw, so he's going to make the call.
Yeah, 230,000 worth. Turn card coming up.
A 10 of diamonds comes off. A bit of a scare card to both players, even though it doesn't help them. Looks like it might help the other guy.
Well, Justin checks, and the German checks behind him. We're going to the river.
Well, ace of diamonds comes off on the river. Justin knows the only possible way he can win this pot is to bet at it, and he's doing that. 560,000. Moritz goes out, so Justin Smith fighting for that pot, bluffing on the river to take it down.
So Justin Smith, with the pressure, gets the German to take his submarine into the ocean depths.
Yep, it's like Justin opened the hatch and then said, dive, 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 and the German went under.
I'm Melanie, one of the Royal Flush girls, and you're watching the World Poker Tour.
We love Las Vegas!
If I'm dating a guy, I would love to play poker one-on-one and find out about his personality, see what kind of tricks he has up his sleeve. If a guy doesn't know when to fold, that's like a turn off for me. If a guy is bluffing in the game, that's okay. Just can't be too often. If he's bluffing on me, cut you off.
Welcome back to Bellagio and the World Poker
Brought to you by ClubWPT.com. And right now, the Aussie John Karadad has raised. Ivy's called with a pair of deuces. And look at this. Moritz Kranich with king-queen is going to call. Here comes the flop.
So three-way action here. Flop is queen, queen, four with two hearts. Great flop for Moritz. He's flopped three queens.
But he's going to try to trap. He's quickly checked, as does John and Phil Ivey. No one's going to fall into that trap. Here comes the turn card. It's a jack. Jack's going to help John Karadad.
Well, it's going to help him get broke.
And Moritz not going to play it sneaky anymore. He's going to stick out a bet of $525,000 with his three of a kind.
So the chip leader with the two jacks drawing dead, as we can see. No card he can catch is going to win him this pot. So whatever he puts out there is just kissing goodbye.
Well, he doesn't know better. He's going to make this call. He's in trouble. Ivey gets out of the way.
So we're going to the river here. And a three comes off. I think Moritz very well aware his opponent could have two jacks here, so he's going to make a bet on the river, and a healthy bet it is. $770,000.
German puts more sauerkraut into the pot.
How much shove left?
And this is troubling if you're the Aussie.
Well, he's asking him how many chips he has left, which is totally irrelevant. You're never in a million years going to raise here with a jack 10 in this spot. You might make a crying call, which if he does, he'll lose his dough, but never, ever are you going to raise. You're going to call or fold. And he's making the call.
Oh, and the Aussie's going to make the mistake. He has paid him off.
So the three queens of the German going to win this pot. And with it, he's going to take the chip lead at this final table.
He is taking the tank and he's rolling over bodies to the complete delight of his German friends chanting on the rail.
I mean, all Europeans always think it's a soccer game, but this is not soccer, Vince. It's the World Poker Tour. 4 players left, and we've got the greatest poker player in the world, Phil Ivey, still left, fighting it out for his second WPT title.
Phil's 9th final table. Winner's going to take home close to $900,000. We are down to these 4.
What a way to kick off a new season on the World Poker Tour.
Please join us again for the exciting conclusion of the Bellagio Cup 6 from Las Vegas. Until then, from Mike Sexton and Vince Van Patten, I'm Kimberly Lansing, and this is the WPT. Good night.
You got it! The German taking it to the American Justin Smith.
I'll just have to screw him up here.
I need a that count.
Don't make me draw dead.
One time, Jack 6. Come on, people.
And out come the beautiful Royal Flush girls, bringing in the cold hard cash.
TV's gonna like that one.
You just got boosted.
Wow, it is not over, though.
But it's not over yet.